And probably one of the most frustrating losses of the year, the Denver Nuggets dropped to 16-12 after simply just not playing good enough basketball over the course of the game, despite Nikola Jokic going off, Michael Porter Jr. going off in the first quarter. Y'all, let's get straight to it. The Denver Nuggets lose to the Phoenix Suns 110-100 in a game that honestly they could have won in many different ways, but the issues continue to rise up for this team. The Denver Nuggets shot 8 of 29 from the three-point line today. They get outscored by 9 at the three-point line. The Nuggets were 20 of 28 from the free throw line. Meanwhile, the Phoenix Suns were 17 of 20. The Nuggets continue to get to the free throw line, but they continue to not be able to convert those free throws as often as they should. And then the Nuggets tonight, a horrible game, which also speaks to the issue tonight. 20 assists and 16 turnovers for the Denver Nuggets, which functionally put them in a horrible spot. As y'all can see, man, I had my Christmas attire on. I was ready for tonight to be a good night. Get to 17-11, continue to rise up to the top of the Western Conference, take care of business, but they just quite simply didn't show up enough tonight. The Nuggets today, I mean, you name it. I mean, at the start of it, let me just say Nikola Jokic tonight has 25, 15, and 2. He starts the game 6 of 7. Then he finishes the game today 4 of 12 from the field, but a lot of that was from the three-point line. He was 2 of 7 from 3, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He started the game off really well, and he obviously was playing super well, but it's just the game flow got away, the script got away, the way that the Suns were guarding him, everything just started to flip in the second half. And then honestly, you know, he had 22 points going into the fourth, I believe, and all the way around, they just were absolutely fumbling around Joker. And today, you know, sometimes you're not always going to be able to stabilize. I think that's my issue, right? Like they were down 7 points, you know, 1 point in the top of the fourth quarter with like 9 minutes left. And Malone wanted to ride it with the bench a little bit longer because, you know, they've proven they can get back in the game. They've done it. But today went from 7 to 12 by the time Joker came back in. And I told y'all about this. I've said this for years. I said this season a lot. You cannot continue to ask Joker to come back into a game, to stabilize the momentum, recapture the momentum, and then to also create a lead, all basically within like an 8.5 minute span every game. Now, he's done that multiple times this year. The most notable one is probably the Warriors game. But today, it wasn't even like KD today was 9 of 26 for 27 points. Bradley Beal had a good game, 27 on 11, 21. He was a plus 12, dominated versus the bench especially, was hitting his pull-up mid-range today. But across the board, the Nuggets, man, they are just too inconsistent. And I think that's my biggest issue. They're too inconsistent with every other spot around Joker. And this is not about like talent. Michael Porter is very talented. Gordon, very talented. He goes down today. He tweaked his right calf. Malone said he hopes he's available for Friday versus the Cavaliers, but we'll see. But in this instance, what I'm noting is they have talent. The issue is the floor is so low for every other player not named Jokic in the starting five or on the team this year that is functionally like is depreciating what the team actually is. Like when they play at their ceiling, they're elite. When everybody plays at their ceiling, they're elite. When they play mid, they're really good. But when they play bad around Joker, it's bad. And you can feel it. And tonight, the defense, everything was falling apart, yo. Like today, the Phoenix Suns, man, as opposed to last game, the Nuggets could not get real stops on the perimeter. And if they did, they kept on fouling. Like Christian Brown, y'all, I think is 3 for 22 from the three-point line. 3 for 22. In his last 22 three-pointers, he's made 3 of them. Today, Christian Brown gives you 5 points on 2 of 7. Jamal Murray gives you 13 points on 4 of 10. Then you get Russell Westbrook off the bench at 17 on 6 of 12. But again, some of that came in garbage time. I noted this on Twitter, and, people are just like the Russ narrative, like it's so like, well, it's Russ. Look what he's doing. He's doing everything else, and like the plus minus. And then the other people are like, well, Russ, he sucks all the time. Like, I don't live in either one of those worlds. Today, Russ was good in the first half because he helped to reestablish the momentum, and then he was bad, like legitimately bad in the second half. But again, some of this is like the Nuggets were struggling. Murray, Russ, Brown, Strother create space, or when they got to the rim to finish, and then when they were trying to pass the ball to not turn the ball over. Russ has 4 turnovers and 2 assists today. Jamal Murray has 4 turnovers and 6 assists today. Michael Porter Jr. has 5 turnovers today and 2 assists. Christian Brown had 1 turnover today. And on top of that, the shooting was horrific. And then Peyton Watson, who's had a pretty good last month and a half. Today, he was 0 of 3 from the three-point line, a -4, and you felt every miss. You felt every miss from Brown and Watson today because they were killers. And Russ today, I think he had really good stints and really good moments today. But there were also points in time where, like, Russ was like, he would force a three-pointer, he would force the issue to the basket, or he would get a rebound, or he get a, they would, like, I think Kevin Durant missed a shot, or he stole the ball on a rotation on Nurkic, and he tries to run up the floor, and then it gets stolen from him, and then it's a layup. And, like, it's just a lot of, like, back and forth stuff. And I'm saying, like, the consistency in the floor, that's the issue that the Nuggets need, is they need a floor that they can depend on. And right now, the only other floor they have is kind of Mike. Like, Mike today had 22, 4, and 2. Like, he played good for the most part. Defense is still an issue. And again, I'm gonna note this again. Is that the real crux of all this is Jamal Murray being hampered again, laboring again, which again is just a whatever, it's a part of it, right? Being hampered, being labored, and then also not being able to do simple point guard stuff, like stuff that CP3 would give you, right? Stuff that even Fred VanVleet can give you at times. Stuff you even see when Russ comes in, like getting downhill and creating havoc, that stuff. But then even that with Jamal Murray's shot making and his shooting, it's supposed to be what separates him, plus the passing. Well, the shot making and the shooting isn't there. So it's like the Nuggets are waiting for Murray to kind of like pop back into form. And he was 1 or 2 from 3. But again, he was clearly laboring today. And so that's the issue. It's just like, the reason the Nuggets floor is so low this year is because Murray's floor is so low this year. Your second highest paid player on the team, and again, in traditional situations, Traquan, I agree. I mean, they need another POA defender at the very least, like 1,000%. I mean, that's not even a question. But with Murray, the issue is that you have to be able to have another player on the roster that can give you stabilized minutes as a scorer, as a creator, or a shot maker or something. And I noted this earlier on Twitter. The one of the issues is, and one of the most glaring issues for this team is the Denver Nuggets. They have one player on the roster that can dribble, penetrate, shoot, and drive, like all of it. They have one player that can dribble and shoot, drive, spot up, like create contact and penetrate, like any of that. And that's Jamal. And Jamal's not doing it well. So if you have a limited roster, Boston, again, I've noted this before, Boston has 4 dudes on the court: Tatum, Brown, White, and Drew. And then they got Peyton Pritchard. They got 5 dudes that are guards or wings that can dribble, penetrate, pass, shoot, and create havoc. The Nuggets have one person. Russ can dribble, Russ can pass, Russ can penetrate, and Russ can do like the havoc stuff, but he's a non-shooter. And the defense guards him like a non-shooter, and you feel it when he's on the court. Murray can't get by people consistently because of injuries. Murray can't shoot consistently because of injuries. Like, he has these stretches where it works really well for games or for quarters. But that's what I'm saying, man. Like, and Porter can't do that. Porter can drive, but he can't like blow by people. He's good. He's developed as a passer, but he's not like creating opportunities and playmaking and all that for other people and driving, creating contact, step back threes, dribbling, creating space for himself, creating plays for other people. Murray, Russ do that, but they are lacking in other things. And that's what Jokic needs. Like Jokic is creating, he's passing, he's rebounding, he's playmaking, he's moving off the ball, he's setting screens, he's rolling, he's popping, he's rebounding on the offensive end and doing all this stuff. And it's like when the Nuggets were at their best, when Murray was doing what he did in the playoffs, like Murray was doing everything: penetrate, dribble, shoot, step back, create, havoc. So that's why they went 16-4. Like, what are you going to do? Because now AG can be AG, MPJ is MPJ, and then their defense is their defense. But the issue is that because they're so lacking in so many other ways, I just, I don't know. It's confounding. It's confounding to me. Because even tonight, like, the defense was bad, but like the Suns weren't like, their offense kind of fell apart tonight. And the Nuggets offense fell apart. Like, and again, they had been a really good offense, elite for the last month and some change. But tonight in particular, you needed one of Russ, one of Murray, one of Brown, one of Strother to like kick it into overdrive, and Joker could be like, all right, bet. Now I got somebody to do this with. Porter was scoring decently. Now I got somebody to do this with. Because sometimes the Suns' offense would stall out. And like I said, KD wasn't even hitting a lot of shots. But once the Nuggets would get a stop, they couldn't rebound. If Joker's not in the game, the Nuggets can't rebound. Like, it's horrible. And Russ was the second leading rebounder today with 6, and Murray had 6 as well. Now, they won the rebounding battle 46-42, and the offensive rebounding battle 14-12. But key possessions in the second half, they needed to end possessions. It wasn't happening. It would lead to another three-pointer. It would lead to a Monte Morris baseline jumper. Again, it's finishing possessions if Joker's not there. So he has to finish the possessions on the defensive end. And then on the other end, it's going to be who knows. Who knows who's going to be available to be able to make shots and to play make and all these other things. So that's really, truly kind of where I'm at with it. I just don't think the Nuggets are currently good enough. But again, most of this is Murray. If Murray was better, then the story will be different. But Murray is currently not better, and I don't know if he will be better consistently. So then what's the other option? Like, you have to find another way. And this is where I come back to like the whole trade thing. Like, again, I hope people can just hear what I'm saying. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers: Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Carlos LeVert, Ty Jerome. They got multiple ball handlers in the starting lineup. Multiple ball handlers. When Karis LeVert gets in the game, multiple ball handlers, multiple players that can create and do stuff and kick out and dish and drive and all that stuff. The Celtics, the same thing. The Thunder, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Cason Wallace, J-Dub, even Lou Dort a little bit. Alex Caruso somewhat, not crazy. And then obviously you got Aaron Wiggins and all these other players, like multiple ball handlers that can do this, and that. The Nuggets have Russ, Murray, and that's really it. And both of them are extremely flawed for different reasons. But when Murray's on, it's like, okay, the Nuggets are almost impossible to beat. When Russ is on, it's like, dang, the Nuggets are almost impossible to beat. So again, this should be like a theme. Like, there's a correlation between that. And they're just not getting good enough guard play consistently enough. And it's not even like Westbrook shouldn't have to do that because he's the sixth man and really the sixth starter for this team. So it comes back to Murray. But again, Murray is just it's hard to talk about him in context because it's like I know he's hampered. But again, at some point in time, when is that going to be the end of the line? Like, okay, that's cool, but this is the result. You're 16-12. Jokic is having an all-time great season. Kevin Durant, by the way, said he's one of the 10 best players of all time. So now what? Like, now what? All that's true. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Yeah, I'm frustrated. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like, I'm 1,000% frustrated with this because all this stuff is really fixable things, and even the process they had today, the things they didn't do well today, all of that, it's all on their own accord. And I'm watching Calvin Booth, man. Like, he wanted to play this game with Christian Brown and go do that and go do this and go do that. Like, Christian is having a bad month. So you have a non-shooter who's also not playing very good defensively right now. So it's like, okay, he can't navigate screens either. So what? Just let it be? That's what don't make sense. So I do think that this is just going to be on, I think, the roster to be able to make some upgrades. Um, yeah, I think Booth is going to have to do a little bit to address some of these things. But like I said, especially like the screen navigation stuff, like that's a problem. Like, you know what I mean? You can't stay with Booker and Beal and Steph and all them and the West, Anthony Simons. Like, you need someone to do that. Christian's not his job. That's just not his job. So, you know, we're going to have to figure that out. And that's not Russ's job, respectfully. It's just not. I think everybody should have a designated responsibility on his team. And the only person that should be doing a bunch of different things all at once is Jokic. And then really your second best player, Murray. But Murray's not doing that. Jokic is doing that. So, yeah, y'all, they need more ball handling. They need more creation. They need more penetration. They need more shooting. You know, same things that we talked about in the offseason. And all of it came out today. Every single part of it. But the Nuggets, man, they have the Cleveland Cavaliers coming up, the Pistons, the Jazz, the Hawks, the Spurs, and then the Celtics, the Clippers, the Nets. So they got Cavs coming back into Denver on Friday. And they win that game, vibes were through the roof again. But then for me, the issues still remain the same. So they got some stuff they got to figure out 1,000%. But y'all, I do hope every single one of you, if you celebrate, I do hope you had a I hope you were able to sit down with your family. Again, y'all know what time it is, y'all. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Y'all my hey, another super chat. Jaquan, we need to do a live together, bro, and talk about this team. Yeah, man, especially maybe on Twitter Spaces or something like that. But y'all, I'm not lying, I'm frustrated, but it's Christmas. Shout out to y'all. Merry Christmas. Y'all know what time it is. See y'all on the other side.